What's up, guys? Welcome to the Follow Me Show. You are here with your hosts,
Drew
and Dee Dee of Follow Me Realty. And in this podcast, we talk about all of the tips and tricks, the do's and don'ts of the modern real estate agent, for those of you just joining us for the first time. And today's episode, we are going to talk about...
We're going to talk about the 10 commandments of real estate, or more specifically, the 10 realtor commandments, according to us.
Yeah, so this is going to be from fatal errors and mistakes that we have made and others that we see, other real estate agents doing, the real true do's and don'ts. Although we could pretty much list 100, we had to consolidate it into 10. Why 10?
So people can understand that it's biblical. I'm just kidding.
It is very, very serious business, guys. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get right to it. So the biggest thing, and you guys hear us talk about this all the time, is...
Thou shall get massive amounts of attention. Okay. This is number one for a reason. Mm-hmm. They can't buy from you if they don't know you.
Right.
If they don't know you, you're not making any money. And that doesn't matter if you're in real estate, if you are a door-to-door salesman, whatever it is, you're not making any money in sales whatsoever if they don't know you.
Yeah, so just like Drew said, I mean, it's really simple. If they don't see you when they need you, and they can see you if you're everywhere, if they don't see you when they need you, then they're not going to call you when they want you to show a specific house or what have you. So that's why it's important not just to have, let's say, Zillow lead generation, but also to have an online presence, because the question that we always ask agents and we ask ourselves is, if someone Googles you, will they find you?
Is your LinkedIn going to pop up, towards the top of the site? Is your Twitter, is your Instagram, or your personal website? Is that going to be the first pages on Google or on whatever search engine, people are checking with?
Yeah, I mean, are they going to find you or 10 other, let's say, Shelly Thompson or whatever?
Yeah.
Are they going to find you? They should find you first, because it is very important to your business and vital. And if you don't want to use your name, of course, you can use your niche. You can brand yourself, but get massive amounts of attention. Simple.
Exactly. And you do that through emails, cold calling, social media, more emails.
More social media. More marketing.
And it's just on and on and on and on.
It never ends.
Okay. So the next one.
Thou shalt get massive amounts. No, we said that one. Thou shalt take massive amounts of action. So, of course, this kind of correlates with the first one, but this isn't everything you do, not just your business, but your personal life, your social life. Everything you do, you want to hit it times 10.
Well, and now because you're a realtor and you're your own business per se, personal life is business life.
True, exactly.
Everything kind of goes with your success, from hanging out too late on the weekends. You don't want to take that kind of massive amounts of action. You want to take, actions towards working, towards your health, whatever it is that gets you closer to your goal.
So the productive things that you're taking massive amounts of action toward. So, of course, you can take massive amounts of action to, like Drew said, partying, and it's not going to get you everywhere or anywhere. So
get you laid.
It might get you laid, yeah, that's true, or get you drunk. But the thing is, what you want to do is take whatever action you're doing toward your business, and again, your social life is going to be, your business life. So anything from networking, everything, make sure that you aren't just taking normal levels of action, you're taking 10x levels of action. So anybody who knows Grant Cardone, we've talked about him quite a few times, then you know what we're talking about. So basically, that's everything. Again, if you're going to go and call people, don't call just 10 people. Call 100 people.
You want 10 times the failures so you can have 10 times the results. So, of course, the more people you're calling, the more action you're taking, you're going to get more no's, but guess what?
You're also going to get more yeses.
Yes, it's a numbers game.
Yeah.
The great Dan Pena once said, if he goes out to the street and asks 100 women to sleep with him, 2 are going upstairs.
Yeah.
So
I mean, hey.
It's a numbers game.
And if he had only tried to talk to 10, then none of them may have gone upstairs.
Exactly.
So it's really simple, guys. I mean, you'll hear from anyone. It is a numbers game. The more people that you talk to, the more attention you're getting. And then the more people want to work with you. Because, you got to get through a lot of people that may not be for you or your niche, and vice versa too. So it's nothing personal. It's like, when you're dating, you just gotta go through the list. It's really simple. So without driving it into the ground, take massive amounts of action.
Okay, so the third one, and this one is so true for many people that, well, not true, but if they don't take this action, the results could be non-awesome.
It can be fatal to your business. Awesome. So what is the third one?
The third one is thou shalt invest.
Invest in what?
And invest in yourself. Mm-hmm. Invest in your marketing, your clothes, your image, and your health.
Invest in your time and be okay with taking the time to market yourself. Investing in yourself is the most crucial part of being a real estate agent. And it also is a different mindset once you get into real estate. Because a lot of times where you may not have spent a lot of time on social media, for instance, because you're using it more as a distraction and not a tool, then you feel guilty about it, right? But as a real estate agent, you have to spend more time on social media, branding yourself and engaging with your audience.
And you have to spend time on buying the nice clothes. Mm-hmm. You got to buy that nice suit. So, guys, if you're showing homes, always look on point. Same thing with girls. So you got to invest in the suit. You got to invest in a better car. And I've spoke I spoke about this in previous podcasts. It's pretty much investing in yourself, your life, your future. That's from health to finances. Whatever it is, you need to invest. And I know for me, it was hard for me to invest at first when I first got into real estate because I felt weird spending $10,000 on myself.
Yeah.
I was like, what the heck? This could be going to the homeless or whatever reason I had.
Yeah, so that's going to not lead into, but that's another thing that I want to say as far as investing in yourself is, I think the bigger thing is be okay with investing in yourself. Because again, I'm going to reiterate, like you said, that money could go here, could go there.
I mean, I still have that problem every now and then. Every now and then I'm like, oh, do I really want to buy that suit?
Well, like if I've spent like 3 hours on email marketing, for instance, and even though I created maybe 10 emails, I'm still like, oh man, that took so long or whatever it is, especially if it's something you've just got started in, it's going to take longer. Don't feel bad about that. Be okay to invest time, energy, effort, and money into yourself as a new agent.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So what's next?
Nothing. That's it. End the show. I'm just kidding.
That's it.
No.
Okay, 3 commandments.
So this next one, I don't have that much experience with, but you do.
Yeah,
so
I could talk all day about it. Yeah. Okay, so number 4, thou shalt know when to refer. So what am I talking about here? Okay, as a real estate agent, you will have a lot of people that want to work with you for a lot of different reasons, okay? Now, you might be thinking as a new agent, well, I don't have a lot of people coming to me, but don't worry, it's going to take time. It's going to build up as long as you keep at it and do the first 3 commandments that we talked about, right? So what's going to end up happening is you're going to start having a first kind of like a rainstorm, like trickle in of people here and there, and they may not necessarily be people that you would normally work with, but you're so excited at the fact that anybody wants to work with you that you're like, yes, I'll do it, yes, I'll jump, and that's okay because you want to get practice. But then all of a sudden everyone's going to start coming your way. And what do I mean by that? That's anything from sales to listings to rentals. Okay.
To working outside of your niche.
Yeah, to working exactly outside of your niche. Now, I will tell you, for you new realtors out there, I always recommend, because you're new and you want to understand the process more than anything you do in the beginning is good because it's giving you more hands-on experience. Mm-hmm. So it might be totally outside of the price point that you want to work with, or totally outside of the, the area that you want to do. But that's okay because you're learning. But there comes a time when you need to know when to refer. So I'll tell you, one of the deal breakers, I believe, as an agent is, if you are going in as a residential realtor, do not, and I repeat, do not work with rentals. Now, that might sound harsh, but I will tell you, I've been a renter, and so it's not like I'm saying it for any bias, but they take a lot of time. They will give you maybe a $250 to $500 lease-up fee, and they take a lot of your time that you could be spending with a buyer showing homes for a, $3,000 to $9,000 commission or more, depending on your price point. But it's really not worth it if you're going to go in $250 to $500. And a lot of the times...
Well, renters typically, their situation is not as good usually as homeowners, so they come with more emotional baggage.
I was trying to figure out the nicest way to say that. They do not just you're right. They come with a lot more emotional baggage, guys. You're going to have a lot of sob stories. Again, I've been a renter. We've been renters. So it's not to say that that's a bad thing. It's just not your market. No matter what your niche is, renters are not your niche as a residential
unless you're
realtor.
Working in property management.
And you're getting paid a salary and a bonus for every person that you put into a specific home. So that's different. But if you're working as a sales agent, that is a commandment. Thou shall know when to refer.
Thou shalt know when to run.
Now, here's the thing. Let's just say rentals aside. There's also going to be situations like we talked about. You want to work with a lot of different people, in the beginning. But sometimes there are some pretty serious red flags that say, hey, you know what? This person isn't for me or I'm not for them. Be okay with referring.
Yeah.
Now, if you have joined a real estate team, they may not be very happy if you're referring an agent. As a matter of fact, most real estate teams or anybody who's giving you a lead will expect that you're going to work it and you'll do whatever it takes. But the thing is, I think honestly, that's bullshit. You shouldn't always have to, especially if you just don't mesh. Again, I'm always going to refer to this. It's kind of like dating. Like if you just don't work with each other and it doesn't work out, it doesn't feel right, then it doesn't feel right. And it is a relationship business.
At the end of the day, that's what it is.
You might have a buyer that's like, I don't want to, for instance, for me, I don't want to work with her. What does she know? And, let's say he's ex-military. I actually had somebody just like this. Ex-military, older man.
He was in his late 50s.
Yeah, late 60s.
Didn't trust you because you're a female.
Yeah.
You're going to get that, especially from... the older crowd,
he didn't
they grew up in a different time, so...
He didn't want to hear anything I had to say, and so I realized it at the initial consultation, and because of the strong industry referral network that I have, I was able to partner him with a perfect person. So, know when to refer because you can get a referral commission out of it instead of altogether losing someone or losing sleep or time or energy and patience on someone.
With someone you just don't mesh with.
Yeah,
that's it.
Exactly.
So, thou shalt know when to refer.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is very big because you can scare away and offend people.
A majority of the population.
Yeah. Thou shalt speak no politics.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, guys, this is
whether you're a Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, Green
Trump
Party,
lover,
Trump lover, Clinton lover.
It doesn't matter. Whatever you do not speak politics ever, ever, ever. And this isn't just in conversations.
Like, I don't really know what that is.
I mean, on social media, don't do it. Just don't. And what's crazy?
Unless you're branded yourself as the political realtor.
Which you should never do anyway.
Well, I mean, hey, if you're the Republican realtor, that's not too bad. That's a good niche right there.
And again, you're singling out yourself and not, there's a whole
you want a niche
demographic.
No, sir.
It's
I'm just
true.
saying, unless it's in your niche, don't speak politics.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So unless you've really branded yourself to be that type of agent, that you are the Republican realtor.
The Republican agent.
I would totally advise against.
Me
Don't
too.
do that. And if anybody ever asks you, so what's your political affiliation? You don't have to answer. Guys, act like this. If you ever see Brad Pitt have an interview and somebody throws a negative curveball at him, does he handle it with style and grace? I would say the majority of times from any time I've seen it, yes. You're going to have those celebrities, for instance, that may say something, but it's going to be all over, Twitter or whatever. Oh, and did you hear what they said? Or Nicki Minaj said XYZ. That's not the kind of person you want to be. And yes, you want to act as if you're a celebrity of sorts, because once you start to gain an online presence, people are paying attention to what you're saying. And so what kind of attention do you want to bring to yourself? I can't tell you how many times I've seen agents make this mistake that still talk to me.
It's all over the place.
It's crazy.
If you listen to this podcast, Just go on Facebook and look at some of the comments.
Hey, some of you guys might have done it,
Yeah.
and now you have to reevaluate. And yes, I'm talking to you if you're doing it and say, okay, should I really write this? I'll tell you, one of the most common places I see this is on Facebook. So hey, if you feel like you just can't help but join in on those kind of conversations, get off Facebook. Period. Close your account down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go elsewhere.
Yeah.
Go to like the bar where no one knows you as a realtor, and
Go
then,
like 30 miles outside of your
then-
hometown.
then
Don't tell
talk
anybody
all
you're
you
an
want.
agent. Yeah.
But on a more serious note, don't speak any politics,
Mm-hmm.
and your image again is everything in real estate.
Yep. For sure.
So the next commandment, my favorite, thou shalt speak of no religion.
Okay, so this kind of coincides with politics. You don't want to single out yourself and basically say, I'm the Christian.
Exactly.
realtor."
I'm the Christian realtor. Although, well, you know what?
Here's
you
the
know
thing
what?
about it.
No, here's the thing.
You want to say, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I know a lot of realtors that go to church, right? And they have that market, right? Or some that go to maybe a mosque and they have that market. That's fine if you're in your congregation.
Yeah.
Publicly,
Right.
don't go blasting your religion, be it Christianity, Muslim, Buddhist, whatever it is.
Okay, I think here's the biggest thing about religion. It's kind of like politics, where in religion, what you don't want to do is go bashing another religion publicly. That's the biggest thing, is stay out of those kind of conversations. It's not to say that people can't know that you're Muslim or that you're a Christian. It's just don't go bashing someone else
Exactly.
publicly, because
Exactly.
guess what? The people that you're talking to, you should just assume that every single person you ever have, are, or ever will work with can see what you're saying. If it's online, they can see it. Plain and simple.
Yep, that's
Or-
it.
Yeah.
So
it's-
if you're like, go home Muslim, that's a bad look. That's a real bad
and
look.
it can get really bad.
Yeah, that's
so
a bad
don't
look.
do. It's a really bad look.
Or if you're like, in the other turn, Christians are nothing but liars and
Okay,
cheats.
I think we get the point.
don't
Don't
say
do
that.
it. Don't talk about religion. Don't talk about politics. Those
Yeah.
are two of the biggest things, guys. Because, I mean, honestly, again, I'm going to say it again. It's all about your image. It's not because you can't be strong in your faith or strong in your politics. It is your image. People are watching you.
Yep. And they want to see what you're about.
Yeah.
And they want to see that
what
you're
gonna
about
do
real
next.
estate.
Exactly. That's what you should be posting about, is real estate, is, anything having to do with positivity. Okay, so the next one is actually one of my favorites to talk about not talking about. I should.
And you
Okay.
guys are going to laugh.
My favorite
Okay.
to talk about why not to talk about.
Yeah, I think
That-
you just gave yourself away, method.
Shut up. Okay. Thou shalt not speak of drugs. I can't believe that we actually have to say this one, but it amuses me.
There's a lot of young people, that maybe are in college, listening to this, or
Yeah.
maybe you're getting your real estate license. Listen,
A lot of millennials.
In college, it's cool to post pictures of weed and stuff, and
Yeah.
beer bongs and all that stuff. But
That's in college
yeah,
and high school.
exactly. But when you get into the big
Professional
boy game
industry.
and the professionalism,
Yeah.
and being a realtor, you can't post like you taking rips off the bong or whatever.
Medical,
it is. What-
medicinal or
yeah, don't-
otherwise.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Don't talk about medicinal marijuana.
I can't believe we still have to say these
exactly.
things. But
Although, who cares, right? It's medicinal, but it's still a very big touchy, subject for a lot of people.
so here's the thing too. Whether it's touchy or not, it all goes back down to one thing. Again, it's your image. So if you like, the thing is, drugs and everything that comes with the paraphernalia, it has a very negative connotation on the public image. So if you are, if you're holding a martini glass or a wine glass, that's not a big deal, right? Because that's more socially accepted. Whether you agree or not with the social acceptance of anything, go with what
What's socially
is
acceptable.
socially acceptable. So, like, I think it was Emerson that said, live in this world, but be not of it. I could be quoting the wrong philosopher, but that's what you want to do. You know, you don't necessarily have to agree with what everybody else is doing, but do what everybody else is doing publicly. That is now what you have to remember as a real estate agent. You're a realtor, so act the part, play the part. You are playing a role. So, and another thing is, we've actually had agents that I've had to have this conversation with, like, hey, listen, you might not want to, actually, I didn't say you might not want to, I said, take this down, take this down, don't do this, don't do this. And, you know, they may not have liked what I had to say, but it's going to help their image. And also, you're representing, that is one thing I'll tell you, we're not big on branding ourselves through our agents, but that's a reflection of the brokerage that you're with. And if you're doing that and other serious agents want to join a brokerage or they want to work with whatever, like, they're not going to want to work with that brokerage if they see a lot of agents kind of posting that and nobody's regulating it.
Yep, exactly.
So, period.
Unless you're the ganja realtor.
Can you imagine the ganja realtor and, like, I'm going to just stop the conversation.
You work in Jamaica, you work in Hawaii.
Well, it could work.
Closing presents are blunts.
Okay.
So these might be good niches for some of you out there that are thinking about becoming the ganja realtor.
For some places
or
where
the ganja
it's,
agent.
You know, no, just hands off at all costs.
Thou shalt not speak of drugs.
Basically.
Okay, so the next one is an important one, and there's not enough of this that goes around, and it bites people in the ass.
Oh yeah,
a lot. So, thou shalt respect thy realtor partners.
Whew.
And that means your colleagues. So whether it's a realtor with KW, Exit, Follow Me Realty, Remax, it doesn't matter. You always want to lead with your best foot forward, and you always want to maintain a certain level of professionalism and respect.
Yeah.
And in this game, I can't speak for everywhere in the country, but for Central Florida and Florida in general, I've come across a lot of nasty realtors that
you will meet again.
and you'll probably deal with a nasty realtor face to face, but don't let that be you. Mm-hmm. Hold yourself to a higher standard than that.
Yeah. So there have been a few times where I've gone on, I've called an agent, a listing agent, or what have you, and I've asked them about the house, and they've been like really nasty, because for some reason there's this stigma that, and maybe because most buyer's agents are perhaps new or they're on a team or whatever, and they're the newer kids in town, right?
They're the freshmen.
Yeah, so there's this unspoken thing where you just kind of treat them like shit. Now, I'm not saying all the time that this happens, but it's more common. It's kind of like how you just know that freshmen and sophomore are treated by juniors and seniors, right? Well, when I first started, that happened quite often. And as a matter of fact, and I mean, again, you could be a buyer's agent and be in the business for like 20 years, but I'm just saying the way, unless you're really well known, which is why it's good to brand yourself and network constantly, so that way you are well known and people respect you. But still, if they don't, and you run into an agent and you're like asking them questions, it's almost like listing agents have this sense of entitlement. What's really unfortunate is these listing agents, they really need you just as much as you need them. You should be collaborative. Like the title company, the lender, everybody should be working together to say, hey, we want this to close, or let's make this happen.
Yep.
And it's amazing to me that there are still so many listing agents that act so entitled, like, ha ha ha, this is my listing. And it's like, well, that's all fine and well, but if your shit isn't selling, then maybe you should have been a little bit nicer, and I could have had an offer for you.
And this has happened to us actually, where we had a listing agent that was not the nicest to us. And to be honest, she was just a downright nasty person, and she was bragging about being nasty.
And you know what was funny about this one?
It came back to bite her in the butt.
Oh yeah, for
Big
sure.
time.
This is what happened. I think you're talking about the same one I'm talking about. Okay, so this agent was just, oh wow. And I was very, throughout the whole thing, and I would recommend you guys do this, act as if a camera's on you at all times. You're being recorded, no matter how nasty they're being. Take yourself outside of the situation. Don't be reactive, and just act as if you're being tested, essentially. That's kind of what I told myself all the time. So this is what happened to this agent. She was really nasty. I sent everything. I made sure to record everything by email to say, hey, I'm just following up with you with this offer, blah, 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 yada, yada. And the offer was accepted. Even though her seller accepted the offer, she said, I just want to let you know this came at, much lower than they expected, and all of this extra stuff, even though the offer was
Accepted.
It was accepted, it was done, and it was maybe $2,000-3,000 less than the list price. It really wasn't that much less. And I think the house ended up going under contract for like $350,000, right? So, she said everything she had to say, and just so you know, this doesn't convey and this doesn't convey. But again, these are things that the way she said it was a very negative connotation. And I said, sure, I understand. Thank you very much for your time, blah, blah, blah. She did not treat me with the same respect. And my buyer, right before escrow was supposed to be deposited, he said, this is a little bit too far. The situation was that it was just too far from where he needed to be at that time. So he did have to pull out. So this is within like 3 days of the contract. So I immediately sent notification saying, hey, we're going to go ahead and, cancel. We sent the release and cancellation, not withdraw the listing, but withdraw the contract.
Okay.
So we sent the release and cancellation, and she was very scared. Now, I don't know if the seller was maybe her friend or what it was, but she all of a sudden changed her tune very quickly. Is there any way we can save this deal? Yada, yada. And quite honestly, I really wasn't willing to entertain it. And neither was my buyer at that point, because I very well could have had people.
But the point, exactly.
That were willing to look at the house again. But I wasn't
going out of your way.
I wasn't going out of my way to tell every single buyer, hey, you absolutely have to check this house out, because I knew just how nasty it was in the beginning. I mean, I do my due diligence, show the buyer's house. But the point was, all of a sudden, she got very nervous. And, her seller came back saying that she wanted to sue because they, we had, remember her?
Yeah.
I said,
but she messed up, but she ended up messing up in the contract. So
exactly. So long story short, she
made
messed
herself
up.
look really bad.
She messed up somewhere. She got very nervous because she knew she messed up, and there was no retribution for her and her seller because, and I can't remember exactly what happened, but basically her seller was saying that she wanted to sue, and it was like, well, you can't sue over a contract within the guidelines, and it was well within the the time to cancel. So that just shows you a lot of time karma comes back to bite you in the ass, even in real estate. So be kind to the people you work with.
Exactly. And if she was cool, I'm pretty sure
I might have been more willing to show another
you would have
buyer.
went out of your way to try to make it happen. Okay, let's see what can happen. Maybe I have a buyer over here. Okay. But that wasn't the case.
I was more than happy to say, hey, you know what? It's just not going to work for him, and let it go. So,
and also too, if you're listening to this, don't let this lawyer talk, all this suing and that's normal. Like, totally ignore all that. If you get sued or you need to go to litigation, who cares? Like, really, it's just part of the game. And don't let all these big words and
exactly.
scary big bad lawyer, all that jazz, scare you off.
Because the funny thing is, that seller could not sue. There was no procuring cause for it anyway. But a lot of times people do try to throw their weight around when there's no weight to be had. So, thou shalt respect thy realtor partners.
All the time.
Period. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so the next one is really your only job as a realtor. Really, like,
as a salesperson.
As a salesperson, it's thou shalt constantly acquire more buyers and more sellers.
Yep.
And if you are an agent, this is what you do all that extra stuff for. This is why you make those phone calls. This is why you take that action. This is why you're posting. This is why you're marketing on Zillow. It's to constantly acquire more buyers and more sellers. Without your buyers, without your sellers, your business dies. That's the bottom line.
So the expenses that you have going out is not your problem as a real estate agent. It's not having enough money to cover it. It's not constantly going for more. So one of the things that might happen to you is, let's say you had 3 closings last month and you're feeling really good about yourself. Let's say that it equaled, about 20,000 that month and you are on top of the world, you want to take your family out, you want to take a vacation, and you very well may do that, and then for 3 weeks you haven't talked to anyone, you've put everything on the back burner, and you're like, it's all good because I just made 20,000. I'm pretty set for at least 2 or 3 months. And then you have this dry spell because you forgot when you took that nice little vacation. It was November.
You also took vacation off of your social media posting.
Exactly.
You also took vacation off of your drip campaigns and your email marketing.
Well, what I was going to say is it was November, and then December is right around the corner, and holidays. And guess what, guys? When it comes to the holiday season, nobody's working. Even though as a real estate agent, you want to be working and you should be doing everything you can for your clients. If you have not built up enough in your own real estate or client acquisition escrow in November, December is going to be dry as shit.
Pipeline. They call it pipeline.
And your pipeline. Exactly. I hate when people say that too for some reason. Okay, so basically, if you didn't do enough in September, October, November, come December, dude, you're shit out of luck.
Until when?
Until January, February, and not even really January. I mean, people are trying to recover from all the shit that they paid for in December. And, it's just like December is National Drift Month. So they're not really looking at selling their properties. It's not typically a seller's market in December. It's more of a buyer's market. But even buyers, they have this kind of sense, look after Christmas. And after Christmas meaning like a 3-week break.
Gotta go visit the niece.
Exactly.
Gotta take care of my son, my daughter, whatever.
Gotta do whatever you gotta do. So you guys
gotta go visit the grandkids.
Don't stop acquiring clients through your action and your presence. Like, you gotta be doing it all the time. And yes, a lot of stuff you can put on automation, that's good, but money isn't your problem. Like, not enough clients is your problem, I think, is the best way to say it. Like, it's just not having enough in your pipeline. Always be acquiring more clients.
That's it. And then think about this too. Like, if you stacked up, as a realtor, I don't think it's a bad idea to take 3 months off. I mean, because if you're working, the first 9 months, January through whatever, and you're taking off November, December, January, February. If you have made enough cash, then you're straight. So that's why it's always a good thing to constantly seek out and acquire new buyers and new sellers.
It's just, the point is, I think that's the whole reason why you get into real estate, is because you can own your own time, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But the thing is, at the same time, you don't want to rest on your laurels.
Yeah. Not at all.
Don't just assume, don't get complacent is the biggest thing. Don't just assume that, okay, I have these people in the bag.
Yeah.
And then after you close, you stop working for 3 months. Just know what you have going next.
If you've cleared about $150,000, I'm talking net profit, in your first 9-10 months, then you're fine. But not everyone does that right away. So keep that in mind and acquire. That's the name of the game. Acquire.
Yep. Okay, so the next one is...
That's it.
That's it?
That's 10.
That was 10?
That was 10.
Okay, so let's go through the 10. Commandments of real estate. Thou shalt get massive amounts of attention.
That's pretty self-explanatory.
2.
Hey, I'm here. I'm a realtor. This is what I'm about. I'll buy you a home. I'll sell you a home. Here's an email. Here's a tweet. Here's a DM. Here's a post. Here's a snap. Boom.
2.
Thou shalt take massive action. Hey, let me go work out. Let me work on my physique, so I'll take more pictures, so I'll smile more, so I'll go out and get more clients. Take massive amounts of action. 3, thou shalt invest in yourself. Buy that suit. Buy your new car.
Feel good about doing it.
Feel good about doing it. Buy that microphone. Buy whatever it is you need to set yourself up as a real estate agent for your business, for your family, for your future. Next one, thou shall
know when to refer.
Yes. Get rid of the clients that you don't mesh with. Refer them. Find someone that you think they may mesh with, so that way you guys are all winning.
Number
something. Never show rental. No, I'm sorry.
Number 4.
That's refer. Number 4 is thou shall not speak of politics.
Yeah, guys, come on, just
If you're a
get
Trump
with this.
fan, don't speak about it. If you're a Hillary fan, don't speak about it. Libertarian, Green Party, whatever, don't talk about it.
Yep. Number 6.
Thou shalt not speak of religion.
I think we covered that like really well.
Yep.
Don't speak about religion.
Yep.
Don't bash other religions.
You
Plain
can. I
and
mean,
simple.
obviously, if you're in that group, you're in your church, you're going to talk about it, obviously. But don't go bashing other people. Be real PC with it.
Yeah.
The next one is thou shalt not speak of drugs.
My favorite.
Your favorite.
I just love that one.
So yeah. Don't post old party days with you doing a line on the table.
Or new party days if
Or
you're
new
doing a
party
line on the
days,
table.
hitting that meth pipe, whatever it is you're doing. Don't do that.
God, that's real. I think that's like a back alley drug. I don't think anybody's going to post that on Instagram. God, I hope not.
Realtors got to make their money.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Thou shalt respect thy realtor partners.
Yeah, thou shalt respect thy realtor partners.
And
we just went over this. Don't badmouth other realtors. Be respectful to them. Be as professional as possible, even though you may run into some people that are not. It will come back to haunt you. Karma, all that jazz.
karma is a bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, karma is a bitch.
And lastly,
Thou shalt constantly acquire more buyers and more sellers. This is your lifeline. This is your blood.
Yeah.
This is the difference between you driving in that little Pinto, Honda, whatever it is, and your BMW, your Ferrari, whatever. Thou shalt constantly acquire more buyers and sellers.
I'd rather say thou shalt not rest on your laurels, but it is what it is. Listen, just constantly acquire and know what you have set up in your escrow, in your pipeline. And that's it.
And that's it.
Guys, thank you for joining us today on episode 8 of the Follow Me Show. Stay tuned for more, and we will see you again soon.
Oh, let it go. See the big picture. Express